guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. In this episode, sabayan niyo akong manood ng ilang eksena mula dun sa isang committee meeting ng Committee on Citizenship and Immigration sa House of Commons po. This happened yesterday, and there was an interesting issue raised bago pa mag-umpisa yung mismong tanungan tungkol sa iba't ibang mga immigration-related topics. Ang nangyari po, kaka-start lang ng kanilang meeting, yung chair ng komite, meron pong ibinahaging sulat mula sa Deputy Minister ng IRCC. Itong Deputy Minister, si Mr. Harpreet Kochhar, madalas na po siya napapatawag talaga sa mga meeting ng committee as a resource person, as a witness. Ngayon, ang sabi niya dun sa sulat na binasa nga sa umpisa, no? Apparently, he and some IRCC employees have begun parang experiencing harassment, intimidation daw dahil sa kaka-appear nila sa mga proceedings na ito. At ang isa sa mga sinisisi, okay, is yung mga social media posts, yung mga clips na kinakat from previous proceedings, ina-upload sa social media, at doon daw nag-uumpisa, kumbaga, yung galit sa kanila. So he is basically expressing some safety concerns. Merong pang nabanggit doon na palagay daw nila nag-uumpisa yung galit sa mga posts specifically from members of the opposing party, mga staff members daw nung ilang miyembro ng komite na madalas silang tinatanong, no, na madalas silang sinuscrutinize, kumbaga. Ayun. At agad naman itong sinagot ni Conservative MP Michelle Rempel Garner, na alam naman natin, parang naging tagapagsalita na rin siya ng conservatives tungkol sa mga issue ng immigration. Dahil of course, she is a member of this committee. So matapos ibahagi yung letter nung Deputy Minister, meron siyang agad sa sagot, kaya papanoonin din natin yun. Sige, umpisahan natin doon sa letter. Teka, lagay lang po natin to. Yan. Start pa lang. Okay, maganda dito sa video na i-share ko, guys, merong subtitles, kaya mas madali nating maiintindihan, okay?
Good afternoon. I call this meeting to order. Welcome to meeting number 17 of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Citizenship and Immigration. Before I go into the regular general comments and reminders and formally introduce our guests who are before us today, I just want to bring to everyone's attention a letter that has been shared with everyone that is on committee. It was a letter that was brought forward by Deputy Minister Kochhar, and I'm going to just read a couple of sentences from it because I think it's important for us to highlight. He had indicated that he's expressing his growing concern about the safety and well-being of public servants who appear before Standing Committee. He's also indicated that recent participants has endured significant harassment, abuse, and threats from the public, ranging from social media attacks to hostile messages sent to their work emails and even in-person confrontations. He's further indicated that one source of harassment, so it's not all, one source of harassment stems from short, decontextualized clips of committee appearances by public servants being posted on social media by members of Parliament or their staff. And then he has also said that without a change in approach, he's concerned that threats and intimidation from the public will persist, increasing the risk to public servants who appear before the committees. I'm reading all of that because I want to implore all committee members from all parties, that's all of us from all sides and our staff, to be very cognizant about how we use the information from this committee, whether it's online or offline. It is vitally important that we understand how we're using it and how it may be interpreted, because we do not want, whether it's witnesses from the department. I see you, Ms. Rempel-Garner, please let me finish. We do not, whether it's witnesses that are from the Immigration Citizenship Department or any of our witnesses in any way ever to feel that it is a safety risk for them to come before our committee and that coming before our committee would in any way ever result from their safety being in any way threatened. So, do you have a point of order?
Okay. Yung bahagi ng sinasabi ni committee chair na parang nakikiusap siya dun sa miyembro ng komite na mas maging maingat sa pagpo-post moving forward. Okay, at maging cognizant, yan yung term niya, sa magiging epekto nito sa mga witnesses moving forward, sa resource person, sa guests nila moving forward. Pero narinig yun yung sinabi dun sa letter, ano? I took down some keywords. Ang sabi ni Deputy Minister, they are facing significant harassment, abuse, intimidation in the form of nasa emails daw, social media posts, in-person encounters, meron din daw. At ang sinasabi niya minsan kasi yung mga posts daw that are coming from members of parliament and their staff ay decontextualized posts. Ibig sabihin siguro ang pinapalabas niya kasi nagkakat nga lang ng clips, hindi naiintindihan siguro nung ilan, okay, walang proper context kung bakit yan ang sinasabi nila. Hence, siguro nga, nagagalit sa kanila yung publiko. Parang gano'n yung sinasabi niya, di ba? Eto na, agad namang may sagot si MP Michelle Garner. Galit siya, no? Galit siya dahil palagay niya, it's a form of censorship. Ba't nyo kami sasabihan na maghinay-hinay sa aming mga sinasabi? Ginagawa lang naman namin yung trabaho namin na pag-scrutinize sa polisiya ng gobyerno tungkol sa immigration. Yan ang kanyang sinasabi, no? Okay, sige. I will play, medyo mahaba yung kanyang sagot. Actually, ang sinasabi niya, sana daw diniscuss na lang nila off-record in private, pero since binanggit at shinare ng committee chair yung sulat during their meeting, ready naman siya dahil meron pala silang hinandang letter, itong Conservative Party, letter addressed to the Immigration Minister, who, by the way, is also here present in the meeting. And by the way, yung mismong si Deputy Minister na nagbigay ng sulat, si Mr. Harpreet Kochhar, nandyan din present sa committee meeting na yan, ano? Okay.
I'm writing to you with regard to a letter to your deputy minister that your deputy minister sent to the chair of the Standing Committee on Citizenship and Immigration. I have copied her below. In the letter, your deputy minister makes a troubling accusation and an even more concerning recommendation. First, he made an accusation that negative feedback one of his colleagues received after a committee appearance, which was in no way detailed or substantiated in the letter, was somehow the fault of members of the committee. Second, he implied that public testimony at committee should not be shared. Given the eyebrow-raising nature of this content, I'm affording you the courtesy of assuming that your most senior bureaucrat went rogue and sent the letter to the committee without your knowledge. If that is truly the case, I trust you will enact appropriate disciplinary measures. If you did, in fact, sign off on this letter, allow me to provide you with some feedback that may help you effectively manage the situation. 1. If your officials have experienced criminal behavior, they should report it to the authorities. I condemn any actual harassment or intimidation against any Canadian, and no one should experience criminal harassment or criminal abuse. In fact, I myself have faced criminal harassment for holding your government to account. I am pleased to report I have not allowed it to silence me. Given your government's insistence that Canada's criminal justice system works in favor of the victims, if your officials feel their accusation has risen to the level of criminality, your officials should have no problem reporting this to the police, having them taking it seriously, and seeing the perpetrator brought to swift justice. Godspeed to them.
Okay, yan ang una niyang punto, no? Kung meron talagang criminal harassment happening, she is advising the IRCC employees to go to the police and file a complaint. Okay, pero she started her statement saying these are troubling accusations na unsubstantiated. Okay, troubling accusations dahil sila yung sinisisi di ba? Yung mga posts daw nila ang pinanggagalingan ng harassment at abuse. Tas unsubstantiated dahil wala namang binibigay pa, no, so far, na clear examples of how these harassment are happening. Okay. But I mean, to me, I truly believe it's really more of the public opinion on immigration policy that is getting to them. Diba? Alam niyo naman, again, yung climate ngayon dito is very against immigration, against mass immigration. At syempre, pag ganyan ang sentimento, ang posisyon ng maraming tao, inevitably, on social media especially, maraming magrereklamo tungkol sa immigration policies. At sino ang sisisihin? Eh de syempre, yung mga kasalukuyang nakaupo sa IRCC. Okay, so the way I see it, honestly, it's unfortunately part of the job, hearing all these criticisms. Of course, we should not be harassing these IRCC officials, no, going to their homes. Baka may gano'n, sana wala naman. Or attacking them physically in person. Ako po, syempre, wag gano'n. Okay, but part of a healthy democracy is being able to scrutinize, criticize public policies. Hindi po ba? I don't think it's anything personal naman doon sa IRCC officials. Okay, pero sige, tuloy pa natin to. Yung sagot ni Ms. Rempel Garner. At ito na, piplay ko lang yung part na parang sinasabi ni MP Rempel Garner. Ang mga issue na hinaharap ng IRCC na baka sabi niya in short, no? Ayusin ninyo para hindi kayo ma-criticize. Okay? Ito yan.
Your government wants to turn the once-strong immigration system into an unmitigated dumpster fire. You and your cabinet colleagues have made policy decisions which have enabled mass abuse of Canada's asylum system, mass overall immigration levels with little thought to impact or taxpayer funds, the healthcare system, housing support or a youth jobs crisis, wage suppression, and the UN describing aspects of the immigration system as akin to slave labor. Said differently, I wouldn't want to have to appear before a parliamentary committee to defend your actions either. In fact, I feel sorry for your DM and your officials. However, if you want the public to support the testimony officials, then you should make better policy and decisions. The buck stops with you. 3, understand that it's the committee's job to hold you to account for your decisions, and we will not be censored. It's the job of non-government members to hold you to account for your decisions. This includes asking questions of department officials who taxpayers pay to execute said decisions, and the public's right to see these proceedings. This is a fundamental part of our democracy. It is troubling that rather than advising you to make better decisions, you have instead directed your DM to try to censor parliamentarians and infringe upon our rights. Do better. We will not accept any form of censorship, and we will not roll over to make it easier for you and your government to get away with breaking Canada's immigration system. Rebuilding Canada's consensus for immigration rests on our ability to use the committee to hold you to account, propose policy, and get you to do the right thing. We will stay the course. Giddy up. Number 4.
Okay. Diyo ko na lang tatapusin yung statement ni MP Rempel Garner. Ano? So yun, similar dun sa nasabi ko, no? Sabi niya, you better make better policy decisions. Diba? Better make policy decisions. We will not be censored. Sabi niya. At may pinupunto siya na may karapatan ng taong bayan makita ang nangyayari sa mga proceedings na ito. Okay? I'm not saying, guys, that I am siding with Rempel Garner on all the issues they are discussing. For me, it's an issue of access to information and government officials doing their job and acknowledging that part of it is being continuously criticized. Bahagi po talaga ng trabaho ng isang public servant, lalo na in a very sensitive position at this day and age wherein immigration is such a high topic. It's part of the job, no? Diba? It's part of the job. Siguro pwede naman nila yan kontrahin ng sarili nilang messaging on social media, diba? Meron naman siguro silang pondo to come up with a messaging that would explain their side better, to appease people's concerns or sentiments if that is what they want, diba? And honestly, sana they come better prepared in proceedings. Okay, lalo na itong si Immigration Minister Leyna Diab, no, unfortunately. I really would love her to be able to express things better. But unfortunately, parang kahit ako na pinapanood ko siya, parang nabibitin ako sa kanyang mga sagot. And I will give you an example in this same committee hearing. Okay, binigyan po siya, tinanong siya ni Rempel Garner ng napakasimpleng tanong. Bakit daw nag-i-issue pa ng mga LAMIA? In short, bakit pa rin kumukuha ng mga TFW in urban areas for fast food jobs, in fast food companies? Okay? Sige. Hindi na naman niya kasi masagot guys ng diretso eh.
Okay. Why are you still giving TFW work permits to fast food restaurants in major urban centers? That's crazy.
Again, as I
1 minute.
explained before, the ESDC goes through and decides where we have labor gaps. People who are getting these, businesses who are getting these have to go through an
But
LMIA assessment.
Did you tell Patty, I'm a little uncomfortable issuing these permits? We have a 20% youth job crisis. I am not going to give Tim Hortons in urban centers work permits. We should change the program. Have you said that to your colleague?
Any employer that receives these goes through a strenuous process where they have to show they cannot find, as well as 1% of our target.
But there's a lot of fraud in that,
it's-
and I have a hard time believing that a fast food restaurant in downtown Toronto needs a TFW for basic work. So have you made any effort to close the program off? Like if you said, hey, maybe we should bet on Canadian kids and scrap the program?
We're always betting on Canadian kids. That's
don't
why
think
we
you
have
are.
what we have. As in terms of facts, there's a 70% decrease
That
in
is
the
time.
temporary foreign
Thank you, Ms.
worker permits
Rempel-Garner.
in
Thank you.
low-wage industries.
Thank you, Minister Diab. Colleagues,
Okay, no? Sa totoo, hindi niya masyado sinagot ng diretso yung specific tanong kasi. She could have answered that restrictions were already made, diba, sa TFW program and continuously itong nire-review or what? Kasi kung yung tinatanong, bakit pa rin merong mga TFWs in areas like Toronto, why didn't she cite the restriction na hindi na pwede magbigay ng low-wage jobs in Toronto? Diba? Kasi mataas na yung unemployment rates dyan. Instead, she opts to go with the motherhood, general defenses na lahat ng nabibigyan ng LAMIA yung mga employers lang na napatunayan na nila na sila ay hindi makahanap ng, local applicant to fill that job. That is just, a general answer na I guess yun yung kinafo-frustrate ng ilang mga tao, no? So that is my opinion of how she has been, performing, answering. What do you think? Ako lang ba? O kayo ba? Baka happy kayo, satisfied kayo sa kanyang mga sagot? And what do you think about this whole issue of IRCC employees who have been testifying in meetings na sila raw po ay hinaharas? Okay? I mean, it could be true, no? I do wish kung meron mang mga taong siguro talagang sumusobra naman, wag naman ganon. Lahat po ay pwedeng madaan sa mga magagandang diskusyon. Healthy, intelligent discussions, diba? Anyway, yun lang. Let me know what you guys think. I will end this episode here. See you guys in the next one. Bye!